Now, I've talked about the 4P plus model before. That is people, processes, projects, and products. But today I want to go deeper because this concept isn't just another framework. It's actually a mindset. It's how you move from being a task taker to becoming a value creator. The truth is, too many BAs get stuck in the delivery weeds, writing requirements, managing backlogs, or doing Jira admin, and forget the bigger picture. The best analysts zoom out and see everything. They see how they connect all the dots. They connect the people using and shaping the work, the processes that define how things run, the projects that drive change, and the products that deliver ongoing value.
The Better Business Analyst Institute
presents the Better Business Analyst Podcast with
Benjamen Walsh.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Better Business Analyst Podcast, the show where we unpack real-world skills, techniques, and thinking that make you a better BA. I'm Benjamen Walsh, I'm your host, and today we are breaking down the 4Ps with real example, practical tips, and ways you can apply this model on Monday morning. I've talked about this model before. It's the 4P plus model. Look on Medium, looked on our LinkedIn page in order to find out about this. I've drawn this up. I've published it as a white paper. But I want to jump in because people just don't go deep enough on this. It's a reminder for you as BAs. It's probably one of the most important mindshift change for you to embrace to move from where you are today to actually being a high-value BA. Number one is people. So you need to understand the human layer. Okay? We need to start with people. Every process, every project, every product, it all starts and ends with people. People follow processes. They deliver projects and they use products. So if you don't understand the people, you can't possibly design good systems or solutions. When I'm teaching, I often say you can't analyze a process without knowing the people who live in it. That's where personas, empathy maps, and stakeholder analysis come in. These are not nice to have BA tools. People keep coming at me with they're nice to have, or human-centered designs do that. They're essential. These are essential, these tools. They're essential for uncovering real needs and pain points, not asking for them. So BAs moved away from requirements gathering to elicitation, where we elicitate requirements, right? So we extract them. We don't just write a list. Now, the problem was when pain points came out and it was used, probably came along with agile and product thinking, all we did was shift to write a list of pain points. That's not what this is about. Okay. So you need to, again, extract needs, extract pain, push on areas, see which hurts. So you need to, for example, find out why staff are frustrated by maybe an inconsistent process, why your clients are struggling with poor service. The people analysis reveals that maybe frontline staff have different understandings on how to do things. Maybe it's not a system issue. Maybe it's a communication issue. Once we understand the individuals involved, the stakeholders, their motivations and frustrations, then process improvement becomes far easier. And I don't mean continuous improvement. I mean process improvement with a big capital P. People define the problem. They're your entry point. Always start your analysis by identifying who is affected and how they experience the current situation. It's going to be a challenge to do that because they've already looked ahead. Number two, processes, the engine room of any business. Again, people get confused about this and think processes come as part of your product or as part of your project, but actually they already exist. If people are the heart, processes are the engine. They define how work gets done today. The steps, the decisions, and the interactions that turn inputs into outputs, or outcomes ideally. A good BA knows that a bad process can make great people look incompetent. And we talk about process modeling. I want to talk about it here because this is how you do it. But whenever we say current state analysis, right, what we're actually saying in an ideal state is current state analysis shouldn't need to be done. 100% believe it. Current state analysis shouldn't need to be done, but every single time no one's documented what they do. Current state analysis is just the process of process mapping and swim lanes and BPMN to visualize how things actually flow, right? And not how management thinks they do things, but actually how real people do it. But the as-is process already exists. It's already there. So future state is a whole other realm, which is where BAs, thrive, and that's where our skill is. But documenting what you do today is actually, it is what BAs generally do on a project, but in an ideal state, this would all be done. And most businesses know the high-level capabilities they do. So the way that you think about processes at this point are capabilities, their value chains, their business architecture. So you can do this across, and I suggest that businesses have a business architect or an enterprise BA who already knows these high-level processes. So when someone starts, they know the box they're playing in. And so I really need you to get this point, okay? This is why processes become before the change. They already exist. I know you might not be doing them before a project or a product's defined or, you're working on something, but they already exist. And processes reveal where the problems lie, which got just how we got funding to do the product or the project in the first place. Okay, so we just need to understand that current state processes ideally happen first. And when I say that, they don't happen that way, but they should exist in that sense. So if you've got an optimal business or a business leader, you should know your current processes, at least at a capability level. So if you take that definition, then number 3 is projects. And these are the vehicles for change. Projects are how organizations make change real. And they exist to solve process problems and deliver improvements through products or services or capabilities. But here's the catch. As BAs, we often drop into projects halfway through, expected to get the requirements done. And that's the wrong mindset. Your job isn't to gather requirements, it's to make sure that the right change happens. That's why you need to understand where the project sits in the wider organization and strategy. Who owns the change? What does success look like? And the project fits within some capability areas of your organization. They fit within a process. I once worked on a project where the goal was implement a new CRM. But when we dug into it, the real problem wasn't the tool. It was that no one trusted the data. And we should have reframed the project around data quality and process alignment, not just technology. But what we actually did was call it a CRM project and a change project to kind of say there were parallel things happening. Projects define how change happens. And as a BA, your role is to connect the dots between strategy, the people, the processes, and the eventual product or service you change it. Finally, we have the product. That's delivering value beyond the project. Projects end, but the product lives on. And I want to make a clarity here. Even if you're not running traditional projects or changes and you're a lean startup, you're a startup, or you're a product management team, you're doing changes. Okay? A feature request could be a change. Ideally, though, it's not driven by a feature. It's driven by a process or a problem you're doing. So that change is a project. In the world of product, whether it's a system or a service or an internal tool, the product is what delivers ongoing value to the business and its customers. That's why modern BAs need to think like product analysts and product managers, right? As well as project analysts. Products evolve, they get feedback, they get updates, and they change shape over time. And a lot of that can be called continuous improvement or iterations, product feature, you're adding a new feature. And a lot of that can be just done in the delivery team itself, but they are projects in this definition. In agile environments, this is even more important because you'll work closely with product owners, prioritizing features, acceptance criteria, you'll be writing those, and validating real-world outcomes, and that loop can go around and around again. Now, the problem with that isolated way of working on product is sometimes it loses its purpose within the greater processes and capability of the business and what it's trying to achieve, and of course, within the people that ultimately it's serving, because it gets obsessed with its people, its product people, right? And even marketers go, what segment? The problem is you need to already wrap that product layer around in some kind of change layer, like either be delivery framework or a product framework. And then you wrap that around with the processes and capabilities of the organization. And you wrap that around with the people, your stakeholders, your customers, your future and current customers. Products are the result of great business analysis, but they're also the beginning of continuous improvement because every release is another chance to learn. And just to be clear, who are you providing the products to? People. And that's where the model goes around it, cyclic. Let's bring it all together. The 4P plus model is just 4 statements. People follow processes. Projects aim to fix or enhance processes or sometimes remove them. Projects deliver products. Products create value for the people. And why have we got the plus in the 4P plus model? That's the feedback loop where people using the product generate insights, really clear once it's up and running. The plus is the most important. And that plus generates insights that improve the next cycle of change. And even maybe some of our customer set grows. When you start seeing your world through this lens, everything shifts. You stop just delivering outputs and you start shaping outcomes and you start to guarantee value. So that's the deep dive on the 4P plus model. I get asked about this in various ways. I keep referring to the model, but they're questions that relate to these areas: people, processes, projects, and products. And it's more than a concept. It's a DNA of better business analysis. And if you want to move from requirements gathering to strategic value creator, start mapping your world across these 4 dimensions. Ask yourself, who are the people involved? Who are we delivering to? What processes shape their experience? Where does it fit within the organization capabilities? What project is delivering this change? Or am I a project? Am I a lean startup? And is this really a project even though we call it continuous improvement? And what product or outcome will deliver lasting value? Thanks for tuning in. I'll speak to you next week.